Yeah.
If DAMWON can make it all about the top lane, they're probably going to win. If Gen.G can relieve that pressure and set up Ruler to carry, they'll probably win. So is that going to be subverted by which team in this last draft? Are we going to have the battle lines as clearly drawn in game number 3 as 1 and 2? See if any team's going to gobble up the Aatrox, because so far your boys 0 and 2 on the first night of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly what we were expecting out of this guy. Certainly not me. Papa, you, of course, were a little bit more expectant of not necessarily being able to fit the same role that Aatrox did here in the LCK. Rai is going to be the third ban of this draft, as Yumi's taken off the board as the fourth. So DAMWON not wanting to see the book kitty at all.
What will be left open? I don't think DAMWON are going to be that interested in banning away something like the Aatrox. So final ban here could be anything. They don't want to deal with Sonar, I guess. Maybe they're hoping that also means the Aurelia is dropped, but Aurelia Sej could be the right. I think Gen.G might actually consider first picking Sejuani, as weird as that sounds, but...
That sounds like something that Peanut these days would certainly do.
I know that's a menace and insult, so it's kind of hard to process that one. But
no, it's not menace and insult, not at all. And it's going to happen. Like, no, Bubba Smith. This is a strategic decision.
Well, strategically, the piggy is in the middle.
And also,
he's probably in the jungle.
Well, I mean, he's in the middle of the two solo lanes. There we go. You nailed it. The Aurelia is available, though, for the first time here so far in the LCK. The Aatrox could be paired with her if they want to, as Nuguri has cycled through both of them.
You're definitely not going to take both. Aurelia Sage is the combo everyone knows, what Team 7 tried to pull off the other day.
Yeah.
It's going to be Aatrox just power picked by DAMWON Gaming on the red side. Where do they go from here, though, is an intriguing question to ponder. Could just take your jungle, and there's some Gragas tune-ups. Small buffs.
Yeah, just base stats, basically, as, okay.
Fans are hyped. Gen.G fans really want to see a Kuzan Yasuo be popping out here. It won't be CuVee.
If it was, I mean, that's just a DAMWON victory, from what it sounds like. However, picking away the Yasuo from a Gragas composition sounds like a pretty good idea. We know that they went rampant as Ruler and Life thinking about being lovers today, as the Xayah is locked away. Rakan available, likely to be picked up, although we saw Rakan not exactly do the greatest of things earlier on in our first series of the night.
And there's an argument to go Xayah Braum so that you have a Braum to deal with Gragas Cask.
Yep.
Right now, it feels like Xayah is at a kind of highest power ebb when you kind of compare her directly to Rakan. It usually felt like it was Rakan, and then Xayah, Rakan was nice together. But it was a long time ago where Xayah was kind of seen as the prized of the duo. And it feels like right now, Xayah with the Essence Reaver buffs and her buffs is at her highest power level relatively in a long time. So I think they would have considered Xayah Braum. They move away from it. The Lux has been seen as this counterpick and the attempt into a lot of strong laners, and with her immense range, Aftershock Lux is likely coming out in this game, an outside chance of it being pivoted to the mid lane.
Yeah, the weird thing about Gen.G's decisions here, getting the Xayah Rakan, means that they weren't able to get that Aurelia that people have enjoyed so much, paired up with the Sejuani, like you were talking about with TSM. Not quite managed to make it work, but you can understand the theory.
A lot of Lux in the recent solo queue from BeryL, but that should be no surprises.
Yeah, and remember, BeryL was the guy that sort of came in after Hoyt as Galio was starting to get himself into the meta. It feels like BeryL is the guy that picks up champions a little bit faster when they're making their way back into the meta and things like that, and maybe Hoyt just takes a little bit longer to get himself there.
We'll talk a bit about Aftershock Lux in the game, because I'm sure this is a new thing for many people, a Korean solo queue trend, but not necessarily a global solo queue trend. Secondary ban, gonna be the LeBlanc away from Kuzan. Always going to see so many Kuzan champions banned out, and that's going to be the Sivir off the board. So the 80 carry here with Ezreal, Sivir, and Xayah taken out of consideration. Galio Kai'Sa was one of those big lanes in MSI, but now Galio's nerf is seeing a lot of people move straight away from the Galio. We're going to see still the Kai'Sa synergy when it comes to the Plasmas with the Q from the Lux, though. Still hard crowd control for Nuclear to pump out the damage.
And also, I feel like the follow-up, if any of these light bindings are sporadically hit throughout this game, the follow-up, like you say, is so incredibly good with the Killer Instinct available from Nuclear if he knows that he can just dive on down onto his opponent. Kennen and Lissandra sounds exactly like CuVee and Kuzan to me, and that is what's going to be picked up here. And some cohesion with this composition already. Very Freljordian coming from the mid and jungle, and then Kennen on the top side should be able to weather the storm against Nuguri. But it might not be Nuguri playing it, as the Vladimir is being looked at. ShowMaker and Nuguri have both played this champion. And the Aatrox has had a lot of popularity in the mid lane, and now with Vladimir against Kennen, feels like a better matchup.
And the laning nerfs onto Lysandra might actually relieve pressure from Aatrox trying to wave clear in mid lane as much as he can. The ad in the bottom center of the screen is actually for SK Telecom's streaming service that does a pro view-like scenario on mobile. So on mobile, you can actually see the POV streams of up to 10 players at once, which sounds really small on a mobile stream. But
yeah.
I'm not sure what that means for ProView, but just a shout out to that because a lot of people have been asking. We get the confirmation that it will not be mid lane Vladimir. If you've watched Nuguri play Vlad, you knew he was playing at this game. However, the Kennen matchup, which used to be a hard counter for Vladimir, he used to just run over this lane at a certain point. It's gotten better and better for Kennen over time, and the Gunblade delays the time even further, upon which Vladimir actually finds his laning leads 1v1 against Kennen.
If there's anyone that can navigate the matchup, though, from the LCK, it is, of course, Nuguri. His Vladimir laning has been fantastic, but this composition looks about as Gen.G as you can possibly get without an Ezreal involved, because, of course, that was banned away first off. From DAMWON,
pick power, engage. When Xayah says, I'm ready to go, there's plenty of people that are willing to dive in there. But Vladimir, like you say, can make it tricky when it comes to those calculations the game goes on. But I like the inherent synergy and the pretty straightforward kind of point-and-click comp on the side of Gen.G. Meanwhile, DAMWON, they've got a lot of cool pieces. How they come together, and have to wait and judge.
Well, if they do come together, Papa Smithy, then it's going to be a lot of damage. Can you imagine Hemoplate going down with an Aatrox doing damage? That is terrifying as we get onto the Rift for game number 3. I believe we're on the Gen.G side of LoL Park, and also they have way more fans. So it just feels like no one cares about DAMWON in our headsets at the moment, but they are a little bit further, and Gen.G fans have just been so incredibly loud.
Oh, CuVee says, screw you, I'm going press the attack, full laning phase on this Kennen. Kennen, of course, it's such a popular pick because you lock it in, it kind of always does something, and I feel like Nico maybe even does that better in recent memories, but full on-hit build here, no Kleptomancy even on this side. If you go and press the attack, you go on AD, so whether it's full AD or Wit's End, feels like it's going to be not the best time. Wait.
That's Unsealed Spellbook.
No. Look at what Vladimir's taken as a starting line.
Needs that mana regen, Papa Smithy.
Well,
gotta get that mana regen.
I'm tilted. Why not just go for a Dark Seal?
Why not? Well, like, I don't know. I feel like he's accidentally the wrong champion.
I don't know what to say here. Yeah. But he really wanted more than one health potion. The way he got there was the defense which, okay, that's fine.
I mean, sometimes the mind games are important.
You called it out already. Unsealed Spellbooks, not a normal choice on Vladimir, right? We don't see that.
Yeah, often the phase rush, things like Predator, like there are a lot of different choices that you can go with.
Now, the theory behind the Unsealed Spellbook is you want to kill Kennen, so it's actually to go to Ignite, go to a laning summoner, and then in a team fight phase, Ghost Flash is very, very strong on Vladimir as well to keep up the chase, but given its press, it feels like both. So the prisoner dilemma, right, is when it comes to actually being in a position to be competitive in certain scenarios, and it feels like Nuguri's saying, I'm going to have Ignite and kill you, Kennen, and Kennen's gone, press the attack, so no one's balking at what this is about. Both of them are ruining and setting up for 1v1.
Yeah. And CuVee is actually going to give himself the best opportunity to, because of course, Kennen in lane as this on-hit build is so strong, especially now that you can build Wit's End and feel much better about it, given the state of that item. Also, interestingly, with a lot of the extra stats now front-loaded on things like the Ginsu's Rage Blade, It might feel better to be on hit cannon as well because he does utilize both the magic penetration and armor penetration at the same time with this build.
The new Rage Blade has lots of really interesting interactions that we haven't seen. So the one that actually was played, I believe in, I want to say it was like LDL, so second tier in China, is bringing back jungle with the Rage Blade.
Yeah.
Because the change, which everyone focused on what it meant for Vayne and the Phantom hit abusers, but it gives 15% armor penetration and magic pen. That's a lot. It's actually really a lot. So it
feels almost like an Achilles item.
I know, right?
Really
It's intriguing and it's not explored yet. We'll wait to see when people play around with it. Canyon walking up to contest Sejuani. These are more tank junglers when it comes to how the early phases come, so very much just camp for camp. Let's talk a little bit about Aftershock Lux support, which is going to be a pretty big staple in Korea, but maybe we'll have to zoom out a bit, because Canyon's saying, this is mine.
Yep, and he's going to be able to take it as well. Not a lot that they can do. BeryL's also going to get the first roam as a ward goes down. That distracts the DAMWON members long enough for Peanut to get his way out, but he's on vision everywhere here on this bottom side. They weren't even really interested in killing him. They felt like getting rid of his Brambleback was enough.
Able to roam first because the Lux had a longer leash to lead lane, and Raga's happy to get in there and look for the steal. The Aftershock Lux, if you're wondering how you proc the Aftershock, it's pretty simple. You hit the Q. If you don't, you ain't got no Aftershock. That's how it works.
Feels a little bit like Aftershock Silas and how he works, needing to hit the abscond if you're actually going to be able to use it.
But the upside is that even though Aftershock was nerfed, it's a lot of flat stats early for a very squishy mage, right? Lux is usually very squishy, so if you don't have Aftershock, you might hit your Q and yet the enemy flashes on you and you die. It's the reality behind it. With the Aftershock, remember that shields are effectively health that interact with resists, so it actually makes her way more tanky than you might expect. Side engages early, Peanut's not in position.
Yeah, Knockup is going to come forward, but Ruler just takes too much harassment, and of course the minion wave is there and does hurt at this level.
So you max shield first, you put a couple points in E for laning phase, and then when you actually do hit that binding and throw out the shield, you either engage on a Lux, who suddenly has, let's say, kind of 200 health, but it's way more than that because you're getting 70 armor and MR, or the 80 carry, who's now got the shield and is killing you. So it's actually really strong for laning trades. It's very much a laning support choice, and in team fights, you just hit the shield on as many allies as possible. That's your first max, the W.
You can see top side of the map, Nuguri is not having the greatest time against CuVee, which is what you'd come to expect. Cannon, 80 cannon like this is just very, very difficult 1v1 in lane to deal with. Canyon coming on up though, and will spot Peanut once again. Gets over, can't steal anything. Arctic Assault, pretty good ability to get himself over that wall.
Final point about the Lux, she can outrange almost everyone, so she stays safe purely from being such high range. And both her E and R are reveals, so if you actually lose control of the map, you can actually spot pretty well between blue trinket, your ult, and also your...
Well, that was the E going down there as well onto Ruler, so passive not actually procced there by BeryL. See, the laning is just going to continue. Very even is this farming scenario as ShowMaker deals with popcorn chickens very easily, as we've learnt before from this Aatrox.
And when you think of the Lissandra versus Aatrox and the cannon, on-hit cannon no less, versus Vladimir, you kind of in your head say, they're taking a lot of autos. That must be hurting on the CS score. It's not, actually. They're overall ahead in CS over the enemy by about 2 between the two lanes. So at the end of the day, and DAMWON are getting away with these laning phases just fine. What's it in service of, given that mid-game seems really powerful and straightforward for Gen.G? Not to know, but just a kind of takeaway here is that we're not seeing CS leads in what can be kind of tricky lanes to get through.
Yep, and as these minion waves are going to crash, the fresh ones anyway, it should be DAMWON and Gen.G on complete even footing here on the bottom side as Ruler misses one of them, and therefore it's going to be one in the lead there for Nuclear. Nuguri on the top side continues shoving in over and over again. Vladimir is doing absolutely fine. So like you say, I feel like it's a very weird question though, because DAMWON's win condition is Nuguri most of the time. Gen.G's win condition is Ruler most of the time. And I feel like they're on opposite sides of the map and they're both doing absolutely fine as this game progresses from the early to mid game.
And what it means the game goes on is kind of scattered, because it's going to be
hard to understand.
Play the Ruin King, Wits End Cannon, who's going to, be competitive with Vladimir the whole game. It's never going to be Vladimir's solo killing with reliability outside of maybe a chance Ignite kill, and notice that Ignite available post 6 minutes. Now taken as the game goes on, it'll be too hard to kill the cannon. So you might say, all right, there's team fights, and Gen.G is easy to execute, they should win. I think that's fair logic, but DAMWON also, they've got these maybe buttons, like what the cast could be, what the World Ender could be. So it could actually be super competitive in the 5v5, even if I look at Gen.G and say, with that much CC, it should be pretty reliable that you shut down one member of DAMWON and then kind of roll through them.
Yeah, we sort of cycled down these lanes, and that's what the conclusion we've come to. I feel like if Canyon can shut Peanut out of his jungle, though, it can be pretty scary. You can see already, he's 18 CS in the lead. That is a lot of camps that Canyon has over what Peanut has, as Peanut can't quite find the Winter's Wrath.
Kind of a bizarre lead given the laning matchups, but it is what's happened.
Yeah. I just feel like Canyon just farms the jungle so much more quickly, especially once his Runic Echoes does come in. It's very, very close. He's on the top side of the map. That's where things are getting scary. While there have been some gasps as Nuguri's health is coming back very, very quickly. Canyon takes that one down, but that's a great snare. The Lissandra putting in some fantastic work from Kuzan side, but Canyon, he's able to get the flash out. Waits on the flash as well, does Kuzan. And that is going to be Canyon being taken down. But it is the jungle is traded, and now Kuzan is in trouble. Ring of Frost. Great position to get to, but I have a feeling he's not out of the woods yet, and that is going to be the empowered auto attack, allowing ShowMaker to grab that kill for himself. 1-0-1 now for the Aatrox, and 1-0-1 as well for Nuguri.
If you're wondering where the top laners were, CuVee got all-in with Ignite by Nuguri earlier, and that's why he was so low on health. So he kind of had to watch on awkwardly. Yes, first blood goes off the smart delayed flash from Kuzan. You'll see that one on the replay. But CuVee can't join, and eventually the numbers is what actually tips this game.
Yeah, Kuzan actually flashing very aggressively to make sure that he could hit his ultimate at the right time. Wasn't able to kill Kuzan, and was therefore able to get over the wall. Here on the bottom side of the map, though, teleport to come in here from ShowMaker as they're looking for Ruler. Lands the knock-up, Featherstorm is going to be there, gets the flash out of this Ire, and it's not over yet, Ruler, as Canyon was making his way down, but doesn't actually go for any sort of dive.
That means the TP event gets them nothing unless they take this Drake. Bot lane is very low. Ruler should be out of the fight, so this should be DAMWON game.
Yep, BeryL should be able to make sure that Canyon loses none of his health, utilizing his shields that he has available for him. Decides not to even do that, as Canyon's going to be able to grab that very easily. And in fact, I feel like Ocean Drake is something that can be pretty useful for the bottom side of the map. However, everywhere else, not going to be very useful at all for DAMWON, having a Vladimir and an Aatrox.
Definitely not the highest value, I will agree with you there. ShowMaker's walking up. He could just be taken down here, but his flash is still up, so this is actually more difficult than it first appears. And ShowMaker's actually very restrained. He does ask the mental question of, wait, where's the Sejuani? And pulls away.
Yep, and Peanut was going fishing, but didn't actually catch anything at that point. He's going to slink back into his jungle. The Gromp is going to be taken, and then the Wolves as well to follow that one up. As we're checking out to see how things are doing. 46%.
Yeah.
Was that CDR? What?
It must be CDR.
How do you get 46? 46?
I don't know.
That's a nutty amount of CDR ShowMaker. Well done.
What else could it be?
I mean, it shouldn't. It theoretically shouldn't be able to be CDR.
I follow what you're saying.
Yeah, but what else is measured in a percentage?
I'm totally sure.
Crit, baby. Yeah, there we go. 46% crit. Aatrox.
Maybe it's tenacity. Because there's a lot of different tenacity effects in the game, and not all of them are...
and they often, they do all stack as well.
In different ways, too.
Yep.
So, it's probably tenacity, I would guess. Actually don't know for sure.
Yeah, well, he's got 46% of something, and I don't think it's cooldown reduction, because the maximum you can get there is 45.
I feel like both teams are about 46% close to the victory here.
Yep. Well, Nuguri isn't. He's 100% close to dead. As Peanut locks that one down, and the crowd goes completely nuts here in LOL Park.
You don't need analysis. Stats bear out, Atlas. You got nailed at that one.
Yeah.
With your numbers. First to the gank. Nice stuff from Peanut. Hasn't been lane ganking or particularly bloodthirsty so far in this game, and it'll be a lovely objective to pick up top side around the Vladimir if they could get the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Kuzan gets out with the claw there in the mid lane, but him getting out means that he certainly doesn't have very much pressure.
Are we feeling this, Canyon?
ShowMaker does have World Ender available. There are some lower health bars. If BeryL can actually snipe someone, that could be a huge deal. His Final Spark not going to be able to steal away any Shellies here from this pit. Gen.G get away scot-free. Okay, ShowMaker. Ran Entrance is going to get Life out of the way, so no worries about the Infernal Chains.
Back away. Just an advantage to Gen.G. Just a good play from them. As Nuguri never got the chance to use his W. Bot lane, afterthought so far this game. Farm from both. You might wonder if you've been
I was going to ask you this about the Manamune.
Yeah, no Manamune present. There was definitely a big kick in going for the Muramana Kai'Sa build. Reasoning behind that was extra 10 AD on the ability, and of course, everyone does that CSI gif whenever an AD item gets any more or less AD about what it means for Kai'Sa's breakpoints.
Yep.
Does mean you could go Muramana plus Pickaxe plus Doran's Blade and hit a very early 100 AD. But people don't like the tier. People don't like the amount of gold spent on mana, so it's dropped away with most recent teams.
Yeah, you might be able to get to that spike earlier, but you sacrifice any laning phase for that by having to spend your gold on a tier, which feels real bad. So that is why Nuclear has opted out of it.
I don't believe anyone in the history of League of Legends or anyone in the future will have quite these items on Vladimir, but here you are, Nuguri. You got a lot of everything. The random sampler, including a Doran's ring.
I think the only reason why that's true is that he has a Doran's ring, which is just so dumb. But he's Nuguri. You can't really fault him, right? Because he's currently within touching distance of what can be a really, really rough matchup. And I'm sure the Vladimir, and he's 1-1-1.
And if you want to be glass half full, you say this item gives health and AP, and you double scale on that based on your passive.
Early game stats as well as 2 potions.
And that's compared to the Dark Seal, it gives you the health and AP, so you double scale on it. Again, that's
okay, Self-Ult has to come in there from Kuzan, gets the flash out of ShowMaker. So in theory, actually, it is a win for Kuzan.
I understand the argument of why not this item, but it still makes me roll my eyes.
Oh yeah, it's not good. Someone has to try and do the positivity though, and I was tasked with that. I don't know whether I've succeeded in doing it anything but facetiously. That's what happens when these things happen, is light binding into all of the big buttons, and that is support and jungle that are able to wipe out a Rakan without him ever being able to get out of CC.
Sometimes all your buttons hit, and even though it's support Lux, you're still dead. Support down on the side of Gen.G. Life on a bit of a mission. He does die a little bit when it's the laning phase is breaking down. It's probably one of the kind of few criticisms for a rookie player, and I think Life has had a really good first year in spite of Gen.G's results.
Can also be difficult as Rakan as well in this current day and age. It's because you can't get yourself around and ward things like a tanky support could otherwise do. And that is going to mean that the Mountain Drake is going to go pretty comfortably over to DAMWON unless Peanut wants to sacrifice himself for an attempted smite steal. Doesn't. That is going to mean Ocean Drake as well as the Mountain now belong to DAMWON. Pretty comfortably moving themselves towards this mid-game as well.
Wit's End and the lifesteal quotient of the Blade done for the cannon. Probably not going to go into Gunblade from here. Has to be Blade to really synergize with the press the attack, but still attacking lane. That's to the benefit of very nice CS numbers.
First CC lands, by the way, and Life is dead.
Exactly. If one hits, you die. That's how it goes. You can't miss any skill shots, so nice and easy stuff. But in case you're wondering, still AP stacking and pen focus on the grabs.
Yep, and that's why he's going to do some pretty relevant damage. Looks like Morellonomicons where he's heading to after this. Oblivion Orb should be what that Ruby Crystal is going to become a part of. ShowMaker wanders on forward as Peanut was discovered there by the sweeping lens, so not going to be face checking anything too dangerous here. Here's the Aatrox. And do you feel like this is reminiscent of Game 1 or Game 2, Tom? Because we did have these lulls, right, in the mid-game, but who is that going to benefit? Is it going to be DAMWON getting to a late game that they like a whole lot more? I mean, I'm looking at Kai'Sa and Vladimir and feeling like they're more happy, but you look over the Gen.G side and things are much better as you head towards late game for them also.
Game 1 was definitely that 90-10 to DAMWON. They also played well in, and then Gen.G just, with the kind of cards they were dealt, made some good choices after the early game in game number 2. I think in game number 3, it's very much like a 54-46 because I feel like Gen.G is right about now hitting their stride. So as Xayah hits 2 items with core items done, they can do a lot, and it should reliably happen. So coming off and being able to get a lead, get a Baron, and close the game, it feels like Gen.G are very comfortable with their current position. But DAMWON also have both high-ceiling players, and in this game, tools that could be used to manufacture a pick out of nowhere and could subvert that. So I feel like I'm more happy as Gen.G, but I'm not surprised anyway if DAMWON makes the next big one.
Yeah. I think that this is probably the closest that we've seen in this series so far. It felt like there was one team that was holding on to a bit of inevitability in both of the games, DAMWON in game 1 and Gen.G in game number 2, and this one feels a little bit more up in the air. It feels like there is a lot more evenness going on, so excited to see who is actually going to be able to pull ahead. So far it's DAMWON with a slight advantage when it comes to the gold, but when I say slight, I emphasize that. It is extraordinarily close. No one is really pulling ahead. Canyon is looking to try and get DAMWON into a better position as the Gragas is lurking around this bottom side.
First item finish, Spellbinder. Almost never see this from a Vladimir's first item finish. This is just, I'm going to find that flank with teleport damage. That's the reason you go for Spellbinder. Right now he's playing around with Summoners too, and as they
yeah, I was going to say, it looks like he's started a new account and hasn't changed the Summoner spells yet. I know it should be Ghost instead of Teleport, but it's what it feels like here with the Heal Teleport, something you never see.
Heal stops him being dived, and he's got a Spellbinder, so he doesn't need Flash as readily right now. Can always cycle it later, of course. And for the flanks, so Spellbinder first for the flank is what Nuguri has done.
The possibility of having Ghost is actually fantastic here as well, because you've got the Spellbook, right? Like, you don't have access to Phase Rush or the Predator or any of these extra movement speed, but now with the Spellbinder completed and the opportunity of switching towards something like a Ghost, he's able to make up for that lack of mobility a little bit better. Nuguri, we know, is often able to find his way into a backline regardless of what's going on. Probably wants a Proto Belt pretty soon.
Bomb in the top side as the bottom lane turret finally falls around 1940. That's the first turret of the game. Yep. We're slowing down. It's Gen.G
we
pace.
Certainly are, actually. Sorry, guys. We should have got a little bit more excited for that tower falling down. We've been sort of lulled.
Take your lulls when you get them, Atlas.
Yep.
You know, speaking of lulls, wants to find something in the top side. Nuguri does cycle that heal, kind of feeling that Sejuani is close, seeing him to the ward.
Almost 2 items here for Kuzan, but ShowMaker does have both of his completed, even the Ghost Blade and the Black Cleaver. Nuguri could get Dove, but he's got Sanguine Pool, and CuVee's got a lot of attack speed, so he should be able to get a big chunk on this turret.
On-hit cannon wants free time with a turret, and DAMWON aren't punishing in other areas. That's just a straight-up win for the on-hit cannon. So DAMWON need to be faster in moments like this. When you see Sejuani top, you should be making your own counter-rotation on other parts of the map.
Well, it's actually Gen.G going for some sort of counter-rotation as Villasandra had the opportunity of heading up that river. A lot of vision available from DAMWON, so would have been spotted. But I do like where Kuzan's head's at. It's really good to check in with these new additions to these rosters as Nuguri's in trouble. CuVee is just smacking him down. He's going to be able to grab that turret very, very easily, and Nuguri can't actually stay in lane against this cannon.
Hasn't built to, he's against an on-hit cannon, so the agency here for Nuguri is worlds apart from what we saw in game number 1 and game number 2, Atlas.
Now he has an Oblivion Orb. I just don't, I feel like Nuguri is one of those players where he feels like he's so good at Vladimir, it doesn't matter what items he builds, and now he's just building as many different ones as he can possibly find.
No one can copy this build, it turns out.
No. That's a toughie. Well, Kuzan not going to be able to seal it with a Q. And the Mountain Drake, the second one here of the game, going over to DAMWON. In fact, they have a monopoly on that particular pit this game.
And whatever team it is in the world, the clock hits 20, the enemy has 2 Mountain Drakes, and you check yourself a bit, because you know what it could mean. Isa is the fastest Baron killer of any AD carry too, so
very close to that Ginsu's Rage Blade as well, which is going to make things even more difficult.
Calculations are never clear in moments like this. Lux should have her first item soon, still slowly cribbing together the first item.
Athenes will be picked up relatively soon.
Well, it's actually about 500 gold behind Rakan because just no turrets have gone down. So, even though you'd think she'd be piling in, Nash is dead.
Yeah, BeryL's dead. See, mate, sorry about that, guys. Wasn't able to provide adequate hype. Everyone behind me here in LOL Park was extraordinarily excited, but as soon as we saw that ult come out, that was a dead loss.
I feel like people are only being burst or no one's going near.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like my job as a play-by-play is being nullified by the fact that everyone's dead before I even get to talk about it.
Finally, you're obsolete, Atlas. It just means we can get to our cricket commentary like it was fated.
There we go. Everyone knows that I'm an analyst, Papa Smithy. That's how I started my career. That's where I belong. You guys should have seen the sarcastic smile from Papa Smithy's side of the desk.
I like that we get this extended replay because you see what BeryL did. He checked Baron. He's like, I wonder if they're on Baron. Decided to walk up towards that. So
yep.
It was good to get the initial context as why she was even topside. Seems like the first read of I shouldn't walk up, I'll alter it, was the right one, and not the further, because kind of went both directions.
Yeah, and also did have a lot of information. In fact, they had a lot of wards around the area, just unfortunately. If you're even within any sort of range of Peanut's ultimate, after a Q, that's a really scary time. BeryL, as you can see, there's not a lot of blocks in that health bar.
So how was your holiday, Atlas?
Oh, it was fantastic, Papa. You know,
I didn't see you at MSI. I was very sad not to see you there, but I hope you made the most of it.
I absolutely did. I certainly watched a lot of MSI, and then I went to Jeju Island, which is a really beautiful place here in Korea. And my girlfriend showed me around, and it was a lot of fun.
Was there any sipping of mojitos on the beach?
Not on the beach, but there was certainly sipping mojitos by the pool.
We're sipping Baron real fast.
Yeah, this Purple Worm is going down very, very quickly, but DAMWON are going to move away from it as CuVee teleports in. Managing to bait that one out as Kuzan moves on for the flank as well, as DAMWON are looking to try and get some sort of wraparound, looking for the positional advantage, don't find it, and back away. And in fact, now Gen.G are able to take down the entire outer ring of turrets and get themselves something for nothing in that exchange.
Exactly. DAMWON Gaming have a lot of Baron damage. We had that confirmed already. However, they're not realistically going to rush it down. If they continue to lose map control, and we've already talked about how scary it is, if Gen.G in the mid-game can decide when fights start, they're going to end on their terms as well. At some point, maybe it's correct for DAMWON just throw all their damage and take what's a 50-50 Baron, because else maybe things are going to really fall away from them, because if Gen.G get the Baron, I think DAMWON Gaming, it's lights out.
Yep, 1,350 damage here from CuVee with Press the attack by itself. He has been hitting Vladimir a lot of times. Yep. It's impressive.
Got those laning core items down. Now Nuguri just doesn't want to be anywhere near him. It's top.
BeryL doesn't want to be anywhere near anyone as his splash and ultimate are now on cooldown. Not much of an investment here for DAMWON, as now they're looking towards this Baron, understanding that their main damage dealer has all of their escape tools no longer available as BeryL. This is what happens when you don't hit that aftershock. Does eventually find it, but doesn't actually get any value whatsoever.
Who smites? Remember, Nuguri's already switched over.
Yeah, he's got that one. Life is now over the wall. Peanut wants to find his opportune moment to get in. He gets in there. The 50-50 is won by DAMWON. It's now Kuzan into the backside. CuVee has his ultimate, but that's not where the damage is. Hits the autos, and Gen.G wipe the fight. But two still remain alive from DAMWON. And
that's why they go for it. They got the double smite. They say, well, screw it, let's go for this. Otherwise, maybe we'll never get back into this game. However, where are the Baron buffs going to be? They do have both teleport users keeping the Baron. And that was the minimum they could get from this to make it worth it. And even then, Gen.G control the minion wave.
Yep, the split pushes are the ones that are able to get that one done. And ShowMaker's looking to try and get this these three members of Gen.G by himself, ghost blading towards them. Understanding that it's actually a 2v4 situation.
He's a man with a I can appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
DAMWON Gaming
stones, that one.
Just decided they were going to get the Baron, and they did. They had the double smite. If they didn't get the smite off, then they deserved to lose, right? Oh yeah. But they had the higher level smite. It was a level 15 smite, I believe, at the time from Nuguri compared to Peanut's level 13. So needs to pick that one up. We'll see if it was close at all in the replay here, because they were never getting the Baron and getting out. That part was not.
Oh yeah. Especially when BeryL took so much damage at the beginning. And the exhaust was used extraordinarily early on hit cannon.
Watch the smites here.
Oh, it was very low. It was very low.
I guess they did the old, well, when it hits 1100, press the smite button.
And actually, so, to be honest, it could have just been Canyon with better timing or something like that, because if Peanut smited early, then that just means that they get it for free afterwards. So.
I believe it was a double smite from DAMWON and not a counter smite from Peanut, but I'm not 100% clear on that one. Hard to tell, of course.
Yep.
Because now Nuguri does get to run down with the Baron, and finally, Atlas, took 27 minutes, he got CuVee's turret.
And he also has a Void Staff as well, and that's a real item, Papa Smithy. He's got a lot of weird items. He's sold the Doran's Ring. We're playing real League of Legends now.
He's moving fast, and he's got penetration. So look, he's got things.
Yep. And he's got the Run Fast guy summon a spell as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's got a Ghosty Boy. Double Ghosty Boys actually coming out from this guy. He's got the Spellbinder picked up.
Oh. It's old school CuVee here. He's found another time to fit in a Rage Blade. How about getting a lot of value out of the 15% on both the Wits End and the Blade?
Right? It's cool, man.
It used to just be Blade, Rage Blade purely for the Phantom hit, but actually now the penetration stacks make it really relevant for this particular build.
Yep, Wits End pretty good at it. And he's still going to get a lot of value out of the Phantom hit as well, given the Blade of the Ruin King that he does have. And you can see, I mean, these autos are really starting to hurt.
He's finally done it. It was the cannon that was required.
Emo Blade comes in as Nuguri's trying to fight back against CuVee and does so quite well. Tides of Blood plus a Crimson Rush proc would certainly have just killed the cannon. DAMWON is walking forward. You see ShowMaker very aggressive here. And now not letting them get any time with any of these turrets.
BeryL wants to do his budget Zoe impression here. Find a very long-range binding. The way it works is throws out the binding, throws out the W, and then the shielding means they can walk up to a turret and siege it down. And remember, they had no turrets a minute ago. That is 3 out of turrets down, so some important standing gold, but definitely not a Baron buff power play to write home about after the initial deaths made it more difficult.
Yeah, 400 gold. Absolutely fantastic. They were able to get past the deficit that Gen.G put them in after winning the fight after the Baron, I guess, is what you can say.
And what do we say in Champ Select? Problem for DAMWON Gaming is, if Gen.G get a Baron buff, it kind of closes out the game. That was the DAMWON Baron they desperately wanted to get in. It was off the board for Gen.G. It got them some initial starts, but it's not going to be a game winner for DAMWON Gaming.
CuVee, ultimate is going to miss there under Nuguri. He does have the pull, as the Hemoplague is already down, but is he just going to die? No, he's not. The autos are there, and CuVee keeps himself alive. ShowMaker teleports just a little bit too late.
Nice play from Nuguri to try to make a turn. It wasn't going to be enough, though. He does go down in the end, so that's a pretty long death timer. 43 seconds for that one. Importantly for DAMWON, ShowMaker didn't teleport to his doom. But now at least Gen.G get a kill, but no more.
Yeah. See what it actually means for the rest of the map here. 2,000 gold. Not even that just yet. Is the lead for Gen.G. Final Spark is going to clear out this minion wave. And DAMWON, they seem to be switching between defensive and proactive aggressive play very, very easily so far this series. It has actually impressed me quite a lot. The fact that, you know, you've got ShowMaker moving into the lane and just wandering forward, right, and demanding that respect, but they have been able to play it a little bit more slowly. Just looking at the things that we wanted out of DAMWON moving from spring to summer. So there are certainly some things that you can say they have improved on in the off-season.
I love some of the itemization choice. We talked about the synergy between Blade, Wits End, and gets Rage Blade, but notice the decision from Ruler here. He does slow down on an Infinity Edge, and he goes for double utility items. More Malmortius, so that he can at least be a threat against Vlad and not just be up in the air and die on the way down. And also the double Executioner's Calling across the cannon and the Xayah. Remember, this cannon's much more of an auto attacker, much more of an 80 carry roll rather than the AP burst that we're used to. So given that, a lot of nice synergy there. Meanwhile, Nuclear's got no QSS till now. QSS is done, but still going to have plenty of problems when Kuzan enters the fight.
Yeah, and Ruler's also going to have some incredible scaling once that Infinity Edge is completed, as well as we do have a fight brewing. CuVee is on the bottom side but has teleport available. Tides of Blood don't find a target here as Nuguri is very frightening.
Deep Ward is onto the red buff area, not scouted.
Baron just spawned, and DAMWON is straight back on it. There is no smite on Nuguri this time around. Canyon has his, but CuVee is looking to just take things down. It's a 50-50 once again, and it's stolen by Xayah! What the heck? Gen.G, they have the Baron, and they might just win the fight here as well, as BeryL is in trouble, but never mind. Nuguri's trying to turn this one around. Ruler still alive, doesn't get any snares though, and now ShowMaker is chasing after him. That knock-up, not going to find the target. Can he get the next one? The answer's no. Double knock-up. Ruler, can he do it? 2 versus 3. Nuguri goes into the Sanguine Pool, and they are running away from the bottom lane of Gen.G. Meanwhile, CuVee is just going to try and take down this Nexus. Nuclear is dead, and CuVee says, guys, is it okay if I win? Is that alright? He's going to flash over, and Nuguri's going to end that party. But still, Gen.G are trying to fight. It is going to be the final spark landing, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. Ruler turns around, kills him. The pesky support doing some silly things, and now you know who the real carry is. Double kill for Ruler in the river. He's going to push further up.
That was some yakety suck sacks Fiesta,
yeah.
but man, was it fun to watch. Ruler doesn't get the kills at the start, but him staying alive and putting out as much damage as he did almost just had their game end. Atlas with the backdoor. Here's the full replay from all of it. A lot to take in. The fight on multiple fronts. Remember, Fina comes in, could have been a smite anyway. 806 was the health bar when the smite came in, and then an auto of all things kills it. But watch Ruler, free hitting on the back, and they forget about him, and only an exhaust from BeryL stops him just killing everyone in a 4v5.
Yeah, BeryL would have died in 2 auto attacks, and remember, he didn't even have his Infinity Edge at this point. He goes and buys it after this, and ShowMaker
it's still
getting
so
juiced
competitive
everywhere, right?
Because they're able to re-engage. Life plays this perfectly. Great synergy between Ruler and Live on the back end. Send more bad guys, says Ruler, the anime hero of the Gen.G story, to the same degree that Nuguri has been the hero of the DAMWON story. But Ruler's got the Baron, Ruler's feeling good, and they push up knowing there ain't much left on that DAMWON gaming nexus.
Yeah. The control ward is going to be put down on the dead inhibitor. Nuguri should be able to help try and push this one out. But remember, the Baron was stolen and they lost both of their Nexus turrets and an inhibitor. This game is about as in Gen.G's court as you could possibly get it. And DAMWON are going to desperately try and hold on. They do have a very cool hat on their Hemomancer. And Nuguri needs to be respected in these fights. It's not like they auto-win on the side of Gen.G or anything like that.
Just
but,
so hard, Atlas.
Yeah, Gen.G, sorry, CuVee does a lot of damage as well if they do try and get in for these flanks.
High crowd control and Ruler this fed is so difficult to deal with. Yes, with a huge outplay, something could happen, but there's a more involved in there. There's a lift up. It's so hard to stop Ruler.
Yeah, and now, because there's no Nexus turrets, Gen.G just get to stay grouped as 5 and try and push DAMWON back methodically over and over again. If they can hold onto their health bars, there's nothing stopping them from just staying here and do that.
They don't need to clear 3 lanes, because if they get the right CC hit and it's 5v4, you just start hitting the Nexus while you're hitting the enemy champions, just end the game.
And see the top wave as well. It's gigantic. It's starting to stack up. It's going to push back, reset in the mid lane as well, but the fight has started. Nuclear, he's in a whole lot of trouble. He's actually losing a fight against a super creep as the explosive cast does about nothing. Hemo play goes down, but is that going to be the best? Sanguine Pool comes out just in time for Nuguri, but it's Ruler. He's able to get so much work done. Oh my god, this Xayah. Triple kills there. BeryL's going to go down. It's the Quadra, and it's the game. Gen.G on the board, picking up their first game of